Good morning. This is Pitch Perspective. Today is June 12th, 2024, and my name is Shemaiah Davis. And this is where we dive into everything football, and let's get it on. And so, what's going on in the football world today? First, we're going to talk about Chelsea's striker, Chelsea's striker search. First it was Sesko, who it was Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United, who were trying to get the player to come to the Premier League. And apparently, all three of those clubs sent in their bid and their proposal and their plan as to how they will utilize the player. And they were waiting on his decision as to where he was going to go. And according to Fabrizio Romano, he decided to stay at RB Leipzig, and so which is very interesting. But the one thing about that entire saga is that he signed a new deal with RB Leipzig. However, according to the news and what experts are saying, there is a gentleman's deal for him to leave the club in 2025 or 2026. Which is very interesting because we're already seeing how gentleman deals play out because we saw that with Harry Kane at Tottenham, and he also had a gentleman's deal with Daniel Levy to leave Tottenham, and when that came around, Tottenham told him that he couldn't leave, and it was a big spectacle in the media, and everybody was talking about it. And so it's very interesting for another high profile player, high profile striker, to sign a new deal and then go with a gentleman's deal. In my When it comes to me and the way I see it is, if you are going to sign a new contract and you plan on leaving in the future, which is next summer or the summer after that, I would say put it in writing. Anything you want done, put it in writing, because gentleman's deal is not really a deal. People can decide, oh, okay, we're not going to honor that anymore, and there's really nothing you can do. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens next summer when he decides to leave, and RB Leipzig RB Leipzig says, no, you can't go. Because that gentleman deal thing is not really a good thing to have. But then again, it's based on the relationship you have with the club and the manager, and technically to see if that person will honor their word. And in today's world, that's it's 50-50. So it's very interesting to see. But then Chelsea decided to turn their attention to John Duran from Aston Villa, the Colombian, who will be playing in the Copa America, which starts in a couple of days. And so it's very interesting to see that. I remember last year Chelsea was very interested in John, and that deal didn't go through. And he really didn't play that much at Villa. And so it's like, why is Chelsea so interested in this young dude? We already got Nicholas Jackson, and who is everybody expecting to get better this upcoming season. We need another top striker that will and play with him and help add up the goal tally. And John only scored 5 goals in the Premier League. Yes, he didn't have a lot of minutes with Unai Emery, Aston Villa. However, Aston Villa, from what we've heard, the reports are saying that they want 40 mil for him, $40 million for a guy that only scored 5 goals last season and rarely played at Aston Villa. And all of a sudden, he's coming to Chelsea, the Chelsea that we know over the years that is a top club, and they are willing to pay $40 million for a guy that only scored 5 goals and has the potential of getting better. That's just ludicrous. I just don't see where the evaluation comes from, and and why Chelsea will be going after someone of that profile, because it's like there's a lot of strikers out there that are available this summer. Top strikers. I don't mind John coming to Chelsea, but he can be a backup to a top striker because he's not really proven himself yet. But if that's Chelsea's number one target now, it makes no sense. And for that price, for $40 million, that's a ripoff. Aston Villa is taking a mick because I just can't see even if Chelsea go ahead and buys John and complete the deal. I just can't see Chelsea paying $40 million for a player like that. But it would be very interesting to see because the name keep popping up. John Duran, John Duran, John Duran. I'm like, I've seen him play. He has some moments of brilliance when he played for Villa, like when he played against Liverpool last season, and he had a brace. He scored 2 goals, which was very good. But we've not really seen that much of him for Chelsea to be paying $40 million. That's about how much they paid for Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer was a lot better prospect than John is at the moment. And so it'll be very interesting. I'll be watching the Copa America to see how he goes on with the Copa America and how he plays and what he does, to get a real good feel of if that's really a good deal for Chelsea. It will be very interesting to see. John Duran, that's a name that I really didn't expect Chelsea to go for. But this is the new Chelsea motto: is buying young players and having a nursery and nurturing these young guys to become superstars. And it's last season was frustrating, and it seems like they're just sticking with their trend. And so it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the Chelsea striker search this summer. And then moving on to another topic that's going crazy in the media right now is Manchester United. I don't understand what's going on at Man U. First, they want to get rid of Erik Ten Hag, and they made this very public, announcement of their end season review, and they dragged it on and dragged it on and dragged it on, and they were going to make a decision. We heard a lot of rumors of them talking to different coaches, like Thomas Tuchel and Maurizio Pochettino and Karen McKenna and all, like a lot of different coaches. They were talking to. Even some people speculated that Gareth Southgate, the England manager, was the next person in line for the job. And all of a sudden, yesterday we heard the news on Talk Sport, on ESPN FC, and Fabrizio Romano also stating that Man United decided to keep Erik Ten Hag and as their coach, which is very interesting, which is like a U-turn as to what everybody expected was going to happen. I mean, I get it. I get some part of it, not all of it, because he did win the FA Cup against Manchester City, and some might say that that was it called Manchester City team that you know really didn't care about that competition because they had just won the Premier League, and it looked like most of those guys went out partying and were not really ready for that game. And United, but fair play to United, they took advantage of their chances and they won the game. And so Ten Hag brought a trophy, to United. And so I can see how that played into it, because as fans, 1 minute if you're winning, you're a great manager, and if you're losing, they want you out. So I can see how that narrative switched with Ten Hag when it comes to his job at Man U, because at one point, all the fans wanted him out, and now all of a sudden, he is the manager for the job. And so it'd be very interesting to see, and which is also what is very interesting is that they also made him sign a contract extension. That makes no sense, because if they're planning, some are speculating that the goal is they couldn't find the manager that they wanted, which makes no sense because there's a lot of great managers that are available, that are out of job, that they could have got. Uh, but that what some have speculated in the media is that they might be waiting for Southgate to leave the England job, and then that way they can give him the job in I United, because at this point Southgate has not decided if he is going to leave England. If England wins the Euros, chances are he might not be leaving. So I can understand. And preseason starts a day or 2 days after the Euro finals, and so time frame don't really work if they were going to hire Southgate as the manager. So I can see how they will leave Ten Hag in the job for now, and then once the Euros is over, and in January they can fire Ten Hag and get Southgate in. But the problem is with that entire theory is that they give him a new contract. So I don't get that part. So if that was the case, they wouldn't have given him a new contract, because next year his contract runs out. And so why give him a new contract if you were planning on firing him in January? So the whole thing is a mess. Nobody really knows what's going on with United. And then we have to talk about the players that he, ousted. You know, like Jadon Sancho and what's his name, Mason Greenwood. These are young talents that, like, especially for Sancho, that left United, went to Dortmund and played very good at Dortmund, and went to the Champions League final and displayed his talent. And so that was a huge, talking point to see if the manager was going to be changed, because there was a friction between Sancho and Ten Hag, and that's why he suspended him. He at one point Sancho was training by himself, not around the team, and then eventually they sent him on loan to Dortmund. So the fact that they're keeping Erik Ten Hag, that means they got to sell Sancho, they got to sell Greenwood. What's going to happen with Rashford? Because this year Rashford was horrible, under Ten Hag. I don't know what the reason is. And I heard another reason that they decided to give him a chance was because of the injury record at United. When I heard that, I was like, that really don't hold no water. Yes, I can understand United had a lot of injury problems, but just look at what happened to Chelsea. Chelsea was the number one team in the Premier League last season that had the most injuries. I think at one point it was 14 to 15 players, and Chelsea still found a way to finish higher than Manchester United. And so if that was the argument they're making, that he didn't have enough players to muster a run to keep them in the top four, you know, just look at Chelsea. Chelsea finished higher with more injuries, so that don't make sense. I don't really know. Nobody really knows what's going on at United, and it will be very interesting to see what happens and moving forward, and how Erik, you know, if Erik is going to keep his job at United, and as especially after he's been given a new contract. So very, very interested to follow what's going on, and thanks for staying with me today. And this is Pitch Perspective, and on to the next episode.